following the game on Saturday, coming away from it, it did feel like the end of the season, actually. I know we've still got a game to play, but the way that game sort of shaped out and panned out in terms of the result, Luton obviously getting pretty much relegated, but they are relegated unless, they're mathematically not, but they are relegated now. And obviously, of course, David Moyes' send-off, George Murphy's first goal. It really had the hallmarks of the final game of the season, didn't it? And it obviously was our final home game, but we still have got a game to play against Man City this weekend. And it could be a big one because it could be a title decider. It's weird, isn't it? What a weird position to be in against, the fact that we've got now Arsenal possibly looking to us to do them a favour. I'll do that more in the preview when we get closer to the time. But yeah, it's certainly, it's weird, because it's almost as like you hope West Ham aren't going to go out and put in a really good performance. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's really weird, very torn, very strange feeling. It felt like when we went to the Luton game a little bit like that. You know what I mean? Because it didn't really matter. Don't get me wrong, I'm pleased we won. Of course I am. It's always great to see West Ham get a result. But this weekend's got a slightly different feel to it because, West Ham putting in a good performance and possibly getting a result could mean something else, which SBOs I don't think we really want. So it's a really weird one. But that being said, it is the final week of the season. And I don't know about you, but I'm getting quite excited for the summer. It's been a long season. I'd say it's been a bit of a disappointing one. Like, it started off with so much promise, didn't it? And we was already sort of, starting to think about what we could achieve. And I really did think that European football was looking a certainty actually for West Ham at one point. But of course, we've ended up empty-handed in that regard. But it's a season where we weren't flirting with relegation. I think that's one positive we can take from it. And of course, we've got a summer now to look forward to with a new manager. We've got new players to be coming in. And this is what the video's about. I want to talk about the summer. We're going to be, I'm recording this before ex-WHU employee, who's now out of hospital, by the way, and recording straight away. I mean, how he's doing this, I don't really know. I did message him and say, I'm not quite sure how his missus is allowing it, but he's doing it. He's recording and he's going to give an update on transfers, etc. So I'm going to do more of a video on that tomorrow, like in terms of maybe later tonight, on terms of transfers, incomings, outgoings, that kind of stuff, and a bit of an update on that. I've seen that we're heavily linked with Dominic Solanke. I think that's coming out of Claret & Hugh as well at the moment. There's a couple of other sources regarding that. So Solanke is looking like actually quite a big target for West Ham, but I'd rather wait and find out the details from X and then talk about that a little bit more then. But one thing I do want to talk about is Mohammed Kudus. I've been asked pretty much throughout the whole season. Well, I don't want to say asked. A lot of people have said to me, I'm pretty certain Kudus is going. We're only having one season with him and he's going. That's kind of been a message, not from everybody, but a fair few people have said that. I've never, ever subscribed to that feeling. I'm so sure that he is not going. And I've reiterated that all throughout the season. I've said that, no, I'm confident we'll have Kudus next season. However, then we've got this news coming out, and it's coming from quite a few places now regarding Liverpool and the player, and them suggesting that Kudus is their number one target. He's likely to replace in Mo Salah, and they're going to make a bid for him this summer, blah, blah, blah. Now, right, there's a couple of things. And by the way, I just want to say, I'm still fully confident that we will not be selling Kudus this summer. I'm really confident of that. And that's not to say that it won't happen, that we won't sell him, but I'll explain what I just don't think is going to happen. The reason being, right, is we've provided the update from ex-WHU employee in the situation. It's kind of come out anyway, and we all kind of know about this, is that this release clause in his contract actually isn't triggered until next summer anyway, for the summer of 25. And I think it's £85 million release clause. Okay, so next summer might be a different story. It could well be a different story, much like we are in the situation with Paqueta. It's looking more likely he's going to go. The release clause is there. Obviously, this betting stuff has kind of caused a bit of a problem in terms of him having his move to City. But ultimately, that's what West Ham are kind of predicting. What West Ham seems to be doing is bringing players in possibly usually we wouldn't be able to get. I think what we're doing is we're bringing in players that the top clubs are keeping a firm eye on, or even close to getting. And we're saying, I'll tell you what, why don't you come to West Ham for a couple of seasons and we'll put a release clause in the contract. We can push them on for a big profit. It makes sense. It's what West Ham should have been doing a long time ago. We've always talked about it. But the problem is, if you're going to use that model, then you've got to be used to losing your players. You've got to have a constant turnover. And that's what I think the club are doing. And I think that's the model that Stuyton's adopting. And that's what we've done with Kudus. But the conversation we're talking about is now. Let's forget next summer. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're talking about this summer. Kudus. I don't see him going at all. I really don't. The reason being is, one, because I've just said that the release clause isn't there anyway. It's not in place for this summer. So theoretically, Liverpool would have to pay more than the release clause, right? Now, bear that in mind, right? That's saying that it's got to be over £85 million. Now, they can't pay 90. I mean, they can put an offer in, but as if West Ham are going to entertain selling one of our best players that we know that we can sell next summer for £85 million minimum as a release clause, why would we then go and sell him this summer unless it's worth our while? So if they come in with, say, 100 million or 115 million or something, that's different. That's different. Then West Ham will probably look at it and go, actually, this is probably worth our while. We get an extra 40 million quid here. We can then get our money back for Kudus and we can go again. So that I can understand happening. Liverpool aren't going to pay 115, 120 million pounds for Kudus. No way. I mean, let's be honest, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. He's a great player. I love Kudus. I'm not looking, but he's not a 120 million pound player at the moment. No way. His form has dipped a fair bit towards the end of the season. A few people suggest, come to me saying about that. And obviously Moyes, his position, all that stuff, whatever. But it's just facts. I'm just saying it, right? He's not. There's no way Liverpool are going to come in and pay that sort of money. I just don't see why West Ham in any way, shape, or form will be selling Kudus. I don't see a scenario where it happens. As I say, unless a club comes forward with that sort of money. But how is that going to happen? There's not. I mean, how many clubs have got that money? How many clubs have got 120 million pounds to spend on one player? They haven't. All right, let's say it's not quite 120. Let's call it 110 because I can hear people having a go at me already. So don't be ridiculous. All right, let's call it 110. And all I'm saying is West Ham. It'd have to be worth West Ham's while to sell him early, and to sell him early. We're talking money. All right, you might be able to look at a player exchange as well, but again, that might tempt West Ham. But again, it's still an outlay for a big club. I just don't see it happening. I really do not see it happening. I'd be stunned if West Ham have any thoughts in the mind of selling Kudus this summer. I don't believe it to be the case. I don't think he'll be sold. That's my view on it. I've been saying it throughout the season. It hasn't changed. So the news that's doing its rounds at the moment, I think is lazy journalism, personally. I don't think there's anything in it. And also bearing in mind at Liverpool, we're talking about Liverpool, the club that's just about to change managers. Bringing in Arne Slot. Do you really think that at the moment they're already... I just don't see it. I don't think that they're in that position at the moment to be sort of leading talks and things like that. Because I just don't see it. I think it's lazy journalism. I think it's kind of obvious from an outsider if you weren't aware of when the release clause is triggered. Oh, look, because I think what's happened is the news of the release clause came out. There was an £85 million release clause, and I think someone's picked it up and gone, oh, well, mate, put two and two together. Well, £85 million, well, it makes sense to replace Salah. And I think that's where that's my gut feeling. That's where the stories come from. That's just, I might be completely wrong there, but that's what I think. And I just think I do not see it happening at all. I really don't. I don't think we've got any concerns there. Lucas Paqueta, on the other hand, is awaiting this decision, isn't he, on his betting allegation stuff. I think the FA have now reached the point where they've got to make a decision. Are they going to charge the player or not? I'm going to do another video about that later on, a bit more detail. But it's big, really, because this situation is holding up a transfer. Watching Lucas Paqueta play against Luton on Saturday, it's one of those. It just reminded me how good he is. When he's playing well, when he's on it, he's amazing, and it reminded me of what we could be losing, because leading into that game a little bit, I was starting to think, you know what, it's probably not a bad deal now anyway. He's not been delivering recently. His attitude hasn't come across overly wonderful to me. He looks very angry. Even against Luton, he looked pretty angry as well, especially in the first half. And I just get the feeling that he's not a content man at the moment. And that always makes me think, oh, do you know what? Better off just cutting ties and don't worry about it. But then he goes and puts in the performance like he did the second half against Luton, and you're like, oh my God, I really can't bear the idea that we're going to lose this player because he's great. But I still think that will probably happen, i.e. his move. But it's dependent on this allegation stuff, whether the FA charge him. We don't know enough about it, but I think what I understand is they haven't really found any evidence anyway. So I'm guessing they'll drop the charges, but let's wait and see. So yeah, it's just a quick update on that. As I say, we're going to have a bit more concrete stuff with regards to transfers. So I might do one a bit later on tonight. We're going to do one on the Paqueta situation, a bit more detail about that. And of course, this Dominic Solanke one, that's the one I'm really interested in, because we are hearing, we are understanding that the club are prioritising as well a striker. We hear that every bloody summer, don't we? West Ham prioritising a striker. But we know we need to. But you just get the feeling now things are going to be a little bit different. New manager, Steidten now firmly in control of the transfer targets. I feel like prior, when we had David Moyes, it was like that halfway house feeling, like it almost like the club were trying to appease both of them. Yeah, we're going to get a couple of younger players in, Tim. Oh, David, yeah, we're going to go for also a couple of older Premier League players. It's almost like we didn't know where to go, who to please. But now you just feel like we've got one man in charge, i.e. of the recruitment in Steidten, with the manager working as the head coach now model. That's what we need. So it's going to be an interesting summer, but we have got some football to play before then. And fingers crossed. Well, let's wait and see what happens Sunday. But at the moment, I'm certainly not. I haven't got much appetite for West Ham going out there and getting a result.